which is why I have restarted my entire book. I started Project Eclipse with an idea, a dream, and absolutely no outline, which was my first mistake of many, which is how we got here. And now I have restarted my entire book. I wrote 25,000 words of this first draft, which was about Act 1, and then I came to the decision that I needed to scrap all of it. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Emily. I make content here on YouTube, and you probably know me from my Instagram, where I have been posting for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And this entire video, you're going to hear me referring to this project temporarily titled Project Eclipse. It is a cyberpunk dystopian. These are the vibes. It is basically about two people that are very unlikely to start working together, but in this world, the unlikely happens all the time. So they find each other and reluctantly start working together. So some would say hesitant allies, because in any other world, they would have never been 10 feet of each other. Like I said, I wrote about 25,000 words for this project. If you know this channel, I've posted, I think, 2 or 3 vlogs, and all of that writing time was to those 25,000 words. And it really hit me when I was writing a particular scene. My book has 2 main characters. I have always liked to write my stories from 2 somewhat perspectives, because I like showing different perspectives into my world, so it doesn't seem as limited. But one of my main characters, Vess, she is a very mundane person. She is not really flat. She's flat on the outside to other people, and she doesn't smile. That's just the simple way to describe her. And at one point in the story, I had just hit the part where it was about to transition into Act 2. So it was the last scene that I wrote. Right after her and Kai, my other main character, had gotten to the point where they were going to work together. And she was interacting with this other character. And it was not accurate to her character whatsoever. I was in the middle of writing, and I was just at that point where the flow was coming out. My fingers were moving faster than my thoughts were coming out. And the more I thought about it, the more I was just thinking, who is this? And what are they doing? Because this is not my main character. This is not Vess. This is not who I created. This is not who she is supposed to be. And at that point, it kind of just all went downhill. The push of motivation that I got to actually restart this project was a video by Braille Writes here on YouTube. I love her channel. She was talking about how she had to blow up her entire book, and I loved the way she described just that metaphor. I loved it. And after watching her video, it really just gave me the confidence that I needed, and helped me look at the reality of this book. And if I kept writing this book how I was writing it, it was going to be a lot of work in the end. And with me only being about somewhat of a third of the way through, I just felt that it was better for me to start over. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I didn't really know this world. I had just made a couple of Pinterest boards, thought about some history, and I was just going to let myself roll with it. I was really just trying to free write the entire book, and people that are able to free write fantasy, dystopian, that whole genre of books, I am very impressed with you, because I did not get that far before I realized that I was not skilled enough to do something like that. I was just kind of almost appalled at myself that I allowed myself to start a book with a very small amount of prior knowledge to what I was getting myself into, basically. So let me catch you up on what has been going on the past month since I have uploaded. Once again, I do apologize for the absence. I have been traveling a lot this summer, and I also got sick last week and was out, and it was just so unexpected, and I did not mean to be away for this long. But the past month and a half, I have started to build this book up from the dust, basically, at a very slow pace. And I did kind of talk about this on my Instagram, but I'll explain it more in depth on here for you guys because this is very much a talking video. I just finished Act 1 yesterday. It has taken me a whole month to just do Act 1. But I can already tell the way I have been doing things, it is going to be so much easier to write this next draft and so beneficial. Oh my goodness. I will be making a separate video explaining how I have been building this book up from the dust, so watch out for that video. It will be next. But to give you a little overview, I have been doing chapter outlines, literally chapter by chapter, writing down in bullet points what is going to happen in each chapter. And that might seem like basic thing for a writer to do. I've never really done that before. I've actually never finished a book before. But that will change this year. I promised myself that would change this year, and I'm still going to make it happen. Another thing that I forgot to mention before was I knew this before I decided to restart the book, but Project Eclipse is actually a duology, however you want to say it. And personally, I think when you are writing a series, especially a duology or a trilogy, you kind of need to have an idea of what's going to happen in the future books while you're writing the first book, so you're not completely lost. Now I have a much better idea of what is going to happen in the second book, as where before I had no idea. I had genuinely no idea. I am going to insert a picture of a piece of paper right here. I'm going to have to blur it. I'm sorry that I can't show you it, but it is literally full of spoilers. But I'm just going to show you, this is something that really helped me. I took a piece of paper and I made technically three, but 2 levels of timelines. I did a huge timeline for the entire saga of the entire story of Project Eclipse, and then I did 2 smaller timelines for book 1 and book 2. And what I started doing was I just started writing I started writing plot points that would happen during these timelines and then little notes. And I don't know how much you'll be able to see with it being blurred. I'm sorry if it isn't helpful, but this method was so helpful to me because as a writer, I'm very much a perfectionist, so you would think that I would be a plotter, which I have been converted to being a plotter now if you didn't get the memo from anything I've said so far. But just being able to write down all of my thoughts, and I did it all in pen because when I'm writing, I always use pen because I never think an idea, there's no such thing as a bad idea. It might be it could be a bad idea, but I write everything down because I don't want to lose any of my thoughts because I can always take one idea and turn it into something else. So I just started writing random scenes, plot points, and everything, and this paper turned into a whole mess. I have even spilled like drinks on it and stuff because I literally take it everywhere with me. It's kind of really gotten beaten up, but it has genuinely been one of the most beneficial things I have done and has really helped me understand my entire story. So I would very much recommend this kind of method, I guess you would say, if you have not. And then this is the other side of the paper where I just started writing down random things about the story, like my characters' internal and external conflicts, random scene ideas, major scene ideas that I knew needed to happen. I didn't know where I would put them yet, but literally just a complete brain dump. I also use Milanote, and I have a page of brain dump on there, but this was like the physical version because I prefer to write things down with pen and paper because I feel that I get more authentic ideas sometimes. I just do really like writing by hand because I feel like it gets my creative flow going much more. And I kind of wanted to touch on a struggle that I've been having. If you watched my episode 3 of Diaries of a Young Writer on my Instagram, the topic was fear of failure. And I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit in this video. Like I said, I only have done Act 1 so far, and it has taken me much longer than I wanted because I have been scared. And that comes from the fact that I did put so much work into those first 25,000 words, and they ended up being pretty bad. Well, not bad. Actually, I was rereading some of it, and there was one scene that I read, and I was like, wow, you're so talented. Sometimes I'll be rereading my writing that I thought was trash, and it'll just be that moment of, wow, you are a good writer. Anyways, back to topic. I have been scared to put time and effort into the outlining process because I have been scared that I'm going to create a bigger problem and a bigger plot hole, and then all of that time would have been wasted. And it has only really come to me in the past couple days, in the past week, and it's been the past couple days that I've actually done most of the work. So technically Act 1 didn't take me that long. It only took me a couple days, honestly. I just was avoiding working on Act 1 for a month, if that makes sense. Like, I was working on it like here and there, maybe write a sentence here and there, but nothing significant or anything. And I think as a writer, like I said, I was just scared. I was scared to start something because I was scared it wasn't going to be worth it. Because I was just, I don't know why, I was so unbelievably scared of creating a plot hole. And anytime I've ever written anything, I don't think I've ever experienced having to deal with a plot hole. Because I usually think my stories are pretty well rounded. So I don't even know why I was scared of that if I've never experienced it. But I guess I've been more scared to actually experience it. Anyways, I just wanted to have a section in here talking about that. I am insecure about my writing. I'm also very confident in my writing. But I have let fear and imposter syndrome get in the way many a time. And this is just my little PSA to all of you writers out there, that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared that your writing isn't going to be good enough, or that it's not going to be good, or that anybody's going to like it, or that's not going to make sense to anyone. And if you're anything like me, you're scared that nobody's going to understand your writing the way that you've meant it to be perceived. Because Project Eclipse is, I would say, it's a darker book. It's not like super fluffy or anything. It is more on the, oh, this is kind of creepy and a little disturbing, because of some of the elements and some of the themes. It's the deeper dark book. That's the only way that there's many ways I could describe it, but I don't want to give you too much because I don't want to spoil my book. But I guess since this book also means a lot to me, Vess, there's a lot of elements of her that are very similar to me, and so she is very close to my heart, and I just want to be able to give her the justice that she deserves, because I love her so much. And same with Kai. there are some elements of him that are very close to my heart. And I just want both of them to come out how I want them. How I want them to be on the page like they are in my head, if that makes sense. I would say another thing that's very important to me is, if you watch my last vlog, I'm pretty sure it was in the last one, I talked about how the kind of dynamic between Vess and Kai is somebody learning to trust someone again because of Vess's past, which you'll find out eventually when you read the book. That's so weird to say when you read my book. Anyways, both of them are people that are learning how to trust others again, and they're going to learn that it's gonna be okay, and there are people out there that they can trust, and there are people out there that are gonna understand them, and that they won't feel so misunderstood anymore. And that might sound cliche, but as a person who has felt misunderstood by many people, this sort of theme, or whatever you would like to call it, is very important to me. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, this is why I have kind of avoided, and my fear of failure of failing this book, because it means so much to me. And I know a lot of writers feel that way about certain projects. I felt this way with my other project, not so much. There's another project I have called Unspoken Words, which, if you are an OG, like you followed my Instagram like from the beginning, you would know about Unspoken Words. Unspoken Words, it's a dark academia mystery novel. I'll probably go back to it one day. I'd want to change a lot about it, but that book meant a lot to me because it was the first time I really had a story idea, and the first time then I remember when I sat down to write that book, and it was just like everything came to life. And it's really the project that made me fall in love with writing. So each project is special to me for different reasons, but Project Eclipse is especially special to me because of the characters and their arcs and what the whole story represents as a whole. What I'm hoping to achieve with this video is, I want people to know that writing is not easy. It's not easy, and it is not a parallel line by any way, shape, or form. You do not get an idea, write a draft, do another draft, and you have a book. That is not how writing goes. And I guess when I was younger, I probably thought that's how it goes. I always knew it took a long time, but it hasn't really been until the past, I'd say, 6 to 8 months that I've realized writing truly is an art. And the complexity of writing and being a storyteller is so mind-blowing to me, and I've just fallen in love with it even more, even though it has become harder for me and things like this have happened. But I just love the craft and everything about it. There is nothing that I love more in this world than creating a character. And there's nothing I love more in this world. I love being a writer so much. Like, I don't think only another writer would be able to understand just the love of storytelling and just creating and anything. Anyways, to get back on track before I get too excited, I just want people to understand that even though writing can make you happy like this, writing can also stress you out. I've been very stressed out. Like I said, the past month where I've been avoiding has been stressful. I've been scared. Like I said, fear of failure. I've been doubting myself. I've been thinking so many bad, terrible things. But as soon as I changed my mindset and just jumped in and put in a few very productive hours into the story and realized that, hey, this is not that bad. You know this story. It's just hidden deep inside of you and you just need to pull it out. It's just showed me once again, why I love writing, and I've just been able to fall in love with the craft of writing all over again. So that is my update for you guys. Like I said, I'm about to be 1/3 the way in. I will keep you guys updated as I go. If you want to know more about the actual process of what I've been doing to build a book up from the dust, let me know down below. I'm probably gonna make a video about it anyways, but if I know that more people want it, I'll probably do it quicker. My closing thoughts are, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to not be confident in your writing. It's also just as okay to be super confident in your writing. Just know that your story is worth being told, and I promise you, somebody is going to love your story just as much as you do. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of the support. All the comments you guys leave, the DMs I get on Instagram, the comments you leave on my posts, it truly means the world to me to see that people want to know more about my stories and my characters. I don't think I'll ever be able to express how much I truly love you guys and how I am so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.